Hey guys, we're back on a new studio time, and in this studio time I'm going to talk to you about the gear that I made myself. This is part one of many that I'm sure going to do, because this is not all that I made. There's another studio where there's way more racks with stuff. But I just wanted to go over a few of these and play them so you have an idea what they sound like and what I did. So unfortunately, because we're in my house on the top floor, I cannot have a massive Marshall stack or two Fender Twin Reverbs or whatever amp, an orange amp for instance, at blaring volume to show you the real power of these boxes. So I have to use a VST plugin for that, and at this point I'm using the very standard Marshall emulator amp made by Steinberg that comes with Cubase. It's not the most fantastic, but it gives you really good ideas. So without any boxes on, that's the sound that comes out of that. And so let's talk a little bit about these boxes. The first box that I hooked up is a parametric EQ with an extra booster. And the second module that I have up here, which is connected, is my version of the Big Muff. And you see all these different knobs here. I'll tell you in a minute what they do. But first let's play. Switch this booster on an equalizer. It already gives us like a nice little boost. It's somewhat loosely related with the Tone Blaster from Electro Harmonix, but I added a graphic EQ to it so I can control the frequencies. Gonna leave it like that. I'm gonna switch this off. And now I'm gonna switch on this thing, which is my version of the Big Muff. Here we go. So you can hear with all these different knobs, I'm actually selecting different components within the filter section. So it gives you like a brighter tone or a less MIDI tone or a more MIDI tone or more bass or lower bass. So I'm just going to leave it like that and combine it with that thing. So it gives a really nice, like a dark tone, but aggressive at the same time. Lots of distortion, and I'm really happy with the combination of these two sounds. So let's move up one module, and that one is over here. So what we have here is a bass muff. So technically, I'm using it only for guitar. Let's see if it's making noise. Okay, so it is actually a bass muff, which I'm only using for guitar. But what the difference is between the bass muff and the normal big muff is that some of the capacitors have a different value and basically filtering off some of the lower frequencies. And so I experimented with that to go for more lower frequencies that are coming through for distortion purposes. So I'm gonna switch this one now on. So again, our normal Marshall sound, and now I'm switching it on. And again, I can hit the preamp with this as well to really kick its ass. And off. And it's really great that even on a Strat, that's why I'm using the Strat with the single coil, how thick of a sound you can get with these boxes. And that's why I made them, to get like a really cool, like interesting sound from that. So now I'm gonna see what else am I gonna patch. This thing is my output. So let's use this is, let's see if it works immediately. Yeah. So this is an analog delay that I built. Add the preamp to that. Okay, the last thing I wanted to show you, it has a really like dirty sound, this thing. The last thing I want to show you is this thing, and this is like one of my favorites probably. And this is a rip-off of the Maestro, the Brassmaster made by Maestro. And it has a super aggressive sound. It's almost like a FM synthesis, but then on guitar. And there's a reason for that, because it uses these little transformers inside, little spools to get that really characteristic sound. So let's play that sound. that is the Brassmaster, or my version of it. I really love the tones that I get from these instruments, and I use them in various different forms. It would be too much in this video to demonstrate absolutely all of them, but I can tell you what they are. These are two different distortions which are very much blues oriented. This one is more of a heavy metal distortion, where I have different switches here for feedback circuits going back to earlier stages of amplification. This is a flanger with a spring reverb built into it. This is the spring reverb part, and this is the phaser part. Here we have also actually three different fuzzes that are all based on different component values, and that's why they all sound a little different. Here I combined it in one with all the switches, but here they're individual. So this one I made first before I went making this. Here we have basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 booster channels, and they all have a different quality to them. They're all based off this module right here, which is the Electro Harmonix type tone booster and gain booster, but they all have different values here, so they all have a different character. I just played you the analog delay right here. And this is a box with all kinds of really experimental modules in here. They have some logic compartments to it, so you get really weird pitch shifting effects and an octaver effect, but really warbled. One is actually turning the whole guitar signal into like an 8-bit environment. Very great to experiment with. And here we have a stereo chorus with a EQ suction added to it. Here we have a very simple preamp with two different outputs, and here we have a version of the Tube Screamer made by Ibanez, and I copied the original schematics of the Tube Screamer, but also here I made a switch to select between various different types of component parts, so it constantly gives you a different character. And I roughly made, I think 40, 50 different modules, and some of them are very, very experimental in nature, and some of them are really giving you a very good and solid, like, fuzz or distortion type signal, and I use it for everything. I run my modular synthesis through it. Now I'm just hooking it up straight with the guitar. But what I built here, and one of the things is what we see up here, is something with like 2, 4, 5 different outputs, and this one is bringing the signal up to modular level, and this is bringing the signal down from modular level into guitar. And so I am able to patch these kinds of boxes into my modular system and use them as proper distortion units without overdriving the input, and on the other hand getting a signal back into my modular system that is simply too weak. Okay, that's it for this studio time. There will be more studio times about this self-made gear. We'll show you how I built them. We have absolutely great video footage of the very first start that I started soldering my first 2 parts, to drilling the holes in all the metal and putting the meters in and spray paint every every cover to like a unique color, how it all looks on the inside. We have great documentation of that, which we'll also share with you. I hope you liked this episode, and as normal, if you have any questions or comments, leave them below, and we'll get to it in a future studio time. Thank you so much. See you soon.